On March 27, 2020, the Reserve Bank had announced certain regulatory measures to mitigate the burden of debt servicing brought about by disruptions on account of COVID-19 and to ensure the continuity of viable businesses. Based on a review of rapidly evolving situation and consistent with globally coordinated action committed to by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision to alleviate the impact of COVID-19 on global banking system, additional regulatory measures are being announced today. So whatever regulatory measures we are announcing, they are consistent with the Basel guidelines. The first measure under this category of regulatory measures, they relate to asset classification. Economic activity has come to a standstill during the period of the lockdown. Now, as I go with these announcements, I request your patience, because in the concluding paragraphs, in the concluding 2 or 3 paragraphs to which I will come very shortly, I have attempted to give some kind of a forward guidance on certain aspects, so I request your patience. I repeat, economic activity has come to a standstill during the period of the lockdown with consequential lingering effects which have unambiguously affected the cash flows of households and businesses. On March 27, the Reserve Bank had permitted lending institutions to grant moratorium of 3 months on payment of the current dues falling due between 1st March and May 31st. It is recognized that the onset of COVID-19 has also exacerbated the challenges for such borrowers even to honor their commitments which have fallen due on or before February 29, 2020 in standard accounts. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision has taken cognizance of the financial and economic impact of COVID-19 and very recently announced that the payment moratorium periods, public or granted by banks on a voluntary basis relating to COVID-19 outbreak, can be excluded by banks from the number of days past due in respect of NPA recognition. Therefore, it has been decided that in respect of all accounts for which lending institutions decide to grant moratorium or deferment and which were standard as on 1st March 2020, the 90-day NPA norm shall exclude the moratorium period. That is, there would be an asset classification standstill for all such accounts from 1st March to 31st May 2020. NBFCs which are required to comply with Indian accounting standards Ind AS may be guided by the guidelines duly approved by their boards and as per the provisions and as per the advisories of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in recognition of impairments. In other words, NBFCs do have the flexibility under the prescribed accounting standards to consider such relief to their borrowers. At the same time, we are cognizant of risk build-up in banks' balance sheets on account of firm-level stress and delays in recoveries. With the objective of ensuring that banks maintain sufficient buffers and remain adequately provisioned to meet future challenges, they will have to maintain a higher provision of 10% on all such accounts under the standstill, spread over 2 quarters, that is March, that is the quarter ending March 2020 and June 2020. These provisions can be adjusted later on against the provisioning requirements for actual slippages in such accounts. You see, while we are announcing certain forbearances, etc., for the banks, Reserve Bank as the regulator of the banking system has to ensure that our banks remain financially healthy over a period of time and in the long term. So therefore, while announcing certain prudential relaxations, we have to necessarily see that the banking system also remains healthy. So therefore, we have required them to make certain provisions, and in any case, we are saying that these provisions can be adjusted later on against provisioning requirements for actual slippages. Only if if the slippage doesn't arise, then the banks have adequate flexibility to sort of deal with appropriately deal with it in their accounts. The next announcement relates to extension of resolution timeline. Under RBI's Prudential Framework of Resolution of Stressed Assets dated June 7, 2019, in the case of large accounts under default, scheduled commercial banks, all India financial institutions, NBFCs which are non-deposit taking but systemically important, and deposit-taking NBFCs are currently required to hold an additional provision of 20% if a resolution plan has not been completed within 210 days from the date of such default. Recognizing the challenges to the resolution of stressed assets in the current volatile environment, it has been decided that the period of resolution plan shall be extended by 90 days. The details of this announcement will, of course, be spelled out in the circular which will be issued. The next announcement relates to distribution of dividend. It is imperative that banks conserve capital to retain their capacity to support the economy and absorb losses in an environment of heightened uncertainty. It has therefore been decided that in view of the COVID-19 related economic shock, scheduled commercial banks and cooperative banks shall not make any further dividend payouts from profits pertaining to the financial year ended 31st March 2020 until further instructions. This restriction shall, however, be reviewed on the basis of the financial position of banks for the quarter ending September 30, 2020. The next announcement relates to LCR, liquidity coverage ratio. The Reserve Bank, and this is this is a norm which has been prescribed for the banks, as you would know. Reserve Bank has been proactively taking measures to address systemic liquidity issues through a slew of monetary and market operations. In order to ease the liquidity position at the level of individual institutions, the LCR requirement for scheduled commercial banks is, we have now decided that the LCR requirement of scheduled commercial banks will be brought down from, it is being brought down from 100% to 80% with immediate effect. I repeat, LCR requirement is being brought down from 100% to 80% with immediate effect. The requirement shall be gradually, however, restored back in two phases, 90% by 1st October 2020 and 100% by 1st April 2021. The next announcement relates to NBFC loans to commercial real estate projects. In terms of extant guidelines for banks, the date for commencement of commercial operations, DCCO, in respect of loans to commercial real estate projects delayed for reasons beyond the control of promoters can be extended by additional 1 year over and above the 1 year extension permitted in the normal course without treating the same as restructuring. And restructuring, as you know, would obviously have implications for asset classification. It has now been decided to extend a similar treatment to loans given by NBFCs to commercial real estate. This will provide relief to NBFCs as well as to the real estate sector. Now, before I go to the concluding remarks, let me mention that the RBI, as I mentioned earlier, is monitoring the situation very closely. We are very vigilant about the developments, and whenever required, we will make necessary announcements. And so therefore, this is not the last of the announcements that we are announcing today to deal with the situation. As the situation warrants, we will be announcing new measures to deal with the challenges. Our effort is always to remain proactive and also to respond to the emerging challenges. Now, let me now move to the concluding portion of my remarks. In conclusion, I would like to review recent developments relating to inflation and the outlook without infringing in any way the mandate of the Monetary Policy Committee. The press release of National Statistics Office NSO on April 13, 2020 showed that CPI inflation for March 2020 declined by 70 basis points to 5.9%. This is, however, based on data gathered up to 19th March. The data showed a softening of food inflation by around 160 basis points on account of the easing of prices of vegetables, eggs, meat, fish, pulses, etc. In other categories of CPI inflation, pressures remained firm. Daily data on 22 essential food items covered by the Department of Consumer Affairs of Government of India suggest that food prices have increased by 2.3% in April so far, that is up to April 13th, in a broad-based manner, though onion prices have continued to decline, and at the same time, the PDS kerosene prices have slumped by 24% in the first fortnight of April. Domestic LPG prices also declined by 8%. These early developments suggest that inflation is on a declining trajectory, having fallen by 170 basis points from its January 2020 peak. In the period ahead, inflation could recede even further, barring of course any supply side disruption shocks, and may even settle well below the target of 4% by the second half of 2021. Such an outlook would make policy space available to address the intensification of risks to growth and financial stability brought about by COVID-19. This space needs to be used effectively and in time. The RBI, as I said earlier, will monitor the evolving situation continuously and use all its instruments to address the daunting challenges posed by the pandemic. The overarching objective is to keep the financial system and financial markets sound, liquid, and smoothly functioning, so that finance keeps flowing to all stakeholders, especially the vulnerable and the disadvantaged. Regulatory measures that have been announced so far, including those which are announced today, are dovetailed into the objective of preserving financial stability. Although social distancing separates us, we stand united and resolute. Eventually, we are confident that we shall cure and we shall endure. Thank you very much.